Who are some of your favorite main characters in JRPGs? In today's video, I will be going over 5 main characters that I really enjoy. Now, this is just a precursor to a bigger part 2 video that I have planned featuring all or majority of my favorite JRPG protagonists. But for today, you guys hold this teaser because your boy Cali Q is quite busy, and I want to give this to you guys because I know y'all love y'all some Cali Q games content. So just hold this one for now and don't bite my head off. But once again, giving a major shout out to my channel members and subscribers. Thank you guys so much for checking out my video. I just made 10 JRPGs I believe are a 10 out of 10. Be sure to go check that video out as well. All right, let's jump into 5 main characters that I truly enjoy from JRPGs. I'm not saying they're the best, so don't get all mad at me, but I am saying I do enjoy these 5 characters when it comes to JRPGs. Some of them are characters that I don't see get a lot of love, and you guys know that's what my channel is all about, shining a light on some of these underrated and lesser known JRPGs. So enough talk, let me go ahead and jump into my 5 JRPG protagonists that I truly do enjoy. Enjoy the video. First, I want to start off with my man Claude C from Star Ocean 2 and most recently Star Ocean: The Second Story R. One of Claude's quotes are, "There's nothing special about being courageous in times of need." And that exactly right there is why I appreciate and like this character so much. Claude is one of the most optimistic and positive leaders that I've ever seen in a JRPG. Even when things look kinda crazy and kinda shaky, Claude still has that optimism to go face it right in front with no hesitation, and I really like that about him, even when it's sometimes to his own detriment.
Look, there's no danger at all.
Famous last words, Claude. Famous last words. But I mean, can you blame him? He has Reina by his side and he always wants to look like that good and strong, reliable leader. Even when sometimes that may not exactly be the case, Claude doesn't let it be known to his team that he's actually going through these certain emotions, which sometimes he does open up throughout the story, but I just absolutely love this dude's optimism, and I love how funny and quirky he can be at certain times with some of his teammates. Claude would say it like it is, even when it comes to being embarrassed in front of a girl. Claude just says it like it is, and I really appreciate this dude, man. Plus he has a killer move set and he's really fun to play with in battle. He's actually one of my favorite main characters to play as when it comes to a JRPG. Plus my man even grades his own battles. What other JRPG character is actively grading themselves while fighting?
10 out of 10.
That is another testament again to how Claude is as a person and as a character. That's why I have to put this dude on my top 10 list, because he's just a ball of joy when it comes to a JRPG protagonist, exactly the type of leader that the characters need to follow. Next on my list, I have my girl Velvet Crowe from Tales of Berseria. One of Velvet's quotes are, "But even in the depths of despair, only 2 things matter to me: the taste of blood-soaked flesh and revenge upon one man." And there you go. That is Velvet Crowe in a nutshell. This woman is out for revenge, and I love that she never deviates from that during her entire journey. Seeing the way that she got done in her game, it makes sense why Velvet becomes the character that she becomes. And one thing that I love about this character is that no matter who in the party says so, no matter what circumstance or event she goes through, she seeks revenge against the man who murdered her brother right in front of her, and she makes that her life mission. Velvet is committed to getting the one thing that gives her purpose, and that is the blood of the man who took something very precious away from her. This character is so underrated as a protagonist in my opinion, because I believe she's one of the best female protagonists in JRPGs. Is she perfect? No. But Velvet Crowe stays true to herself and she lets no one sway what her mission and goal is. Plus, when it comes to the gameplay side of things, I think Velvet's gameplay style is absolutely dope. She uses a combination of martial arts with her feet, kicks, and she has kind of like this hand blade that comes out along with this cool nightmarish from Soul Calibur demon arm in which she uses to absorb the enemies that she's fighting. Another aspect that makes Velvet really compelling and unique is the fact that majority of the protagonists in the Tales of series features teenage boys trying to do the right thing. Goody goody two shoes, if you will, trying to save the world. Oh no, no, no. With Velvet, there was no saving of the world. There was getting that blood and getting that revenge that only mattered to her. So I really appreciate that she was a knock against the typical norm and the typical trope of trying to save the world. Velvet didn't care nothing about saving no world. She only cared about getting that blood on her hands and getting revenge for the man that took something away from her. But along the way, this character did have other character development. As you can see in some of the skits with the party, they would see more of her personality and see that at one point she does enjoy things like cooking and she does have other hobbies. So there is more to this character than just a one-note revenge story, but I want to put Velvet in here as a special shout out because I feel like this character is really good and I will be including her on my long form version of this video as well. So I gotta throw Velvet Crowe up on here because she is awesome and she stands out as a Tales of protagonist. Next, I gotta go with my girl Noah from Legend of Legaia. Now, you know there's a lot of folks out there that say they were raised by the wolves. My girl Noah here was absolutely raised by a wolf. Noah is an absolute savage that's not talked about as much, primarily because, why? I just kind of exposed myself. She is not the main character of Legend of Legaia, but since Vaughn is a mute protagonist that don't really have any lines in the game, I went with the next best choice. And the next best choice in Legend of Legaia is Noah herself. Not only is she an incredible and amazing fighter, I mean, some of her moves are some of the coolest moves I've seen in a JRPG when it comes to martial arts. She is also just a sweetheart. She's a very naive young girl who literally knows pretty much nothing about the outside world because she literally was raised by a wolf in a cave. So she knows almost nothing about the outside world. But can you imagine what type of character development and things that she learns along the way? Think about the growth that you will see with this character as you play with her, as everything that was once unknown to her is now becoming known in every single aspect, from the trees, from the environments, to the buildings, to the technology. Everything is new to Noah. Even the concept that there are bad people in this world is a very new concept to Noah, as she's literally just been in the cave for the majority of her life. She has these dreams of her parents from a far distant land, and typically when you go through Legend of Legaia, you go through these dreams with Noah and you go through these feelings that she also have. And Noah, being the naive but sweethearted girl that she is, she lets her team know, hey, guys, I believe in this. My parents are alive. Let's go find them. Let's go meet them. I want to see them. And she takes on the challenge of finding her lost parents. Oh, also keep in mind, she's so naive, she didn't even know she even had parents. Yeah, this character goes through an insane amount of character development in all aspects of life, literally like a child. So once again, Noah is just an underrated JRPG character in general. I swear, she is just a sweetheart and I absolutely love this character. This is the perfect blend of sweetness and toughness all mixed into one character, because Noah is an absolute beast in game and she's an absolute beast party wise. So I have to have Noah on here, and I will be including her on my long form list as well. Next, moving on, is my girl Chris from Suikoden 3. She is the captain of the Zexen Knights. She is called the Silver Maiden and is treated as a heroine in Zexen. Chris is one of my favorite characters in Suikoden 3 for a multitude of different reasons. First, her character development is absolutely incredible, and a lot of you guys who have played the game know exactly what I'm talking about. She goes from this straight, rigid captain to becoming this somewhat flexible but more understanding and compassionate hero that she was always meant to be. But throughout her journeys in Suikoden 3, she gets closer and closer to being that compassionate hero that others have always took her as. She's very straightforward and she has a very strong personality, as she is the captain of the Knights. So there's a certain amount of responsibility and a certain amount of leadership that is needed in order to be the captain of an entire brigade. But that's another reason why I truly enjoy this character. I really love it when a game can take a character that's pretty one note in the beginning and then turn them into this beautiful complex character of emotions, values, gratitude, and even compassion. To me, that is character development truly done well. And Chris is a great example of a true experience of growth and character development in her journey, because the Chris that you end up with at the end of Suikoden 3 is definitely not the Chris that you start off with in the beginning. And most people would say, hey, that's just typical character development. But not all storytelling is equal, and Suikoden 3 does a masterful job in taking Chris and turning her into something even more. And I'm serious, guys, I did not think I would come to like this character as much, especially when I first played this game back in the day. But boy, it did a great job of convincing me and making me think otherwise. Suikoden 3 manages to do an incredible job of turning Chris from this unlikable somewhat character to a character that you actually start to feel compassion for and start to have understanding for. I will always have a nice spot in my heart for Chris, because guess what? I started off hating this character. So the game's storytelling did a great job of actually making me dislike this character. But by the end, I'm like, wow, she actually managed to touch me in a way as to where I can understand where she was coming from, and I understood some of her internal struggles as well as some of the things she was thinking when she did certain acts. I can't really say too much. Perhaps I'll have to do a spoiler version of this video as well, where I do talk about certain things. But yeah, without going into spoilers or saying too much, I really enjoy Chris's character development in Suikoden 3, and she's one of my favorite JRPG main protagonists. Man, you know what? At this point, I should have just made this list about the females in JRPGs. Oh well, too late now. Let's go ahead and move on to our last person on the list. And saving the best for last is my man Jack Russell from Radiata Stories. Radiata Stories is one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. There was no other JRPG like this, and there's no other main character like Jack Russell. This character is completely goofy. He doesn't take himself serious. He doesn't take anything serious for that matter. And it's absolutely why I love this character. I have not played too many JRPGs that know to not take itself too seriously like Radiata Stories and like Jack Russell. Even in the face of some danger, Jack is still unfazed, and he still looks at things with a sunny side up approach. He's always looking at the good, and he's always looking at the benefits. He's somewhat of a goofy kid and a naive kid and even a cocky kid at times, but Jack is exactly like some people that I may even know in real life, which is why I love and resonate with this character so much. Typically in JRPGs, there's always the stoic hero with the big sword on his back, and he's out to save the world, and everything's so serious and monotone. Not Jack Russell. He's always looking for the next biggest and boldest challenge in order to prove himself that he is a worthy warrior and can live up to the image set by his father. One thing that Jack does go through on an internal and serious level is the lack of his father and his father being killed in battle. As you go through Radiata Stories, you will see Jack deal with this in his own comedic ways and sometimes in very serious ways. Jack tries so hard, and sometimes it's nice to see him fail, especially in the beginning where he gets his butt kicked by Ridley, the very girl that he was saying he was going to hold back on. He ends up getting smashed by this girl, showing once again his lack of technique, his lack of experience, and his lack of evaluating the situation. But that's just it. That's why I really enjoy this character. He's an imperfect character, and the game leans 100% into it. Jack is who he is, and he has a lot of pride and comedy about who he is, but he still has the drive to be something more. I absolutely love Jack Russell, and I wish there were more JRPG characters like him that would poke a little bit of fun at the world that they're living in, and would poke a little bit of fun at his superiors and different characters inside of the world. We need more Jack Russells in JRPGs, and I'm telling you guys, if you've never played Radiata Stories, it's an absolute gem of a game. But Jack Russell himself is an absolute gem when it comes to being a JRPG protagonist. Now, I've said all these things about him, but yet he still manages to recruit 177 different characters to follow him into battle. So while Jack may be comedic and goofy, there is something about him that makes him a leader. And that's exactly what Jack Russell is, a leader at the end of the day. And throughout Radiata Stories, you watch this progression happen in slow ways, but this progression does happen. So guys, there you have it. Those are 5 underrated JRPG protagonists that I believe need a little bit more attention and deserve a little bit more spotlight because they have very inspiring stories, and I feel like they deserve to be in the conversation a little bit more. But thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and supporting this content, man. I'm having such a blast building this community with you all, and it just warms my heart that we're all coming together despite our differences and being able to have a conversation and being able to enjoy our favorite medium all together. That's what this YouTube thing is all about. If there's anything I can improve upon, let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to share your 5 underrated JRPG protags that you enjoy. Keep in mind, a part 2 featuring the massive list will be later on this month for this video topic. Thank you guys for supporting the Cali Q Games channel so much. It means a ton to me. If you haven't already, hit that like button, join in on the conversation down below, and most importantly, go ahead, hit that subscribe. You know this is one of the best channels you ever been on. All right, God bless. I'll see you on the next one. Love y'all. Peace.